Ayo, friendos, welcome back to my channel. For this one, I have a very fun day planned for us. In one of my last videos, I did the famous eyeshadow palette tag, and I enjoyed it so much that I decided, wouldn't it be fun if we did a fall palette tag? Are you excited? Because as you can see, I am. And you guys know I can tend to prattle on when I get excited about things. So today I have my notes. I'm just gonna try to rapid fire. And I think we have a total of 17 palettes to cover. Full disclosure, someone may have already done this idea of a fall palette tag. I didn't go searching for it on YouTube. This idea just came to moi. So the topics that you will hear me talk about today are all original from my own mind. What bit of it I have left. All right, enough of that. Let's get started. So first category is newest. My newest fall palette is this Ciate London bronzed eyeshadow palette. This has 9 pans. It's very bronze and very fall. I've used this one twice now. It is pretty good. Like, it's not the most pigmented eyeshadow palette that I've ever used, but I've still been enjoying it. This came in an Allure beauty box, and I think it's a pretty okay palette. Second on the list is oldest fall palette. So for that, it's the Modern Renaissance palette. I feel like everyone and their mom has bought this palette at one time or another. This palette has absolutely stood the test of time. It still holds up. It doesn't feel old when I apply it to my eyes, and it's still something that I reach for occasionally and enjoy. The next few categories are all going to be pertaining to color range. So for the third category, it is Leans Green. This is the Natasha Denona 5-pan palette in number 11. I don't know if they are discontinuing these, but I've noticed a lot of them have been sold out on her website. There are no mattes in this palette, so it's not a complete palette, but the formulation is still very beautiful, and it's something that I'll reach for in conjunction with another palette. Next, we have Pumpkin Spice. This is more about the palettes that lean orange. Somehow they were able to fit the Donald into my palette. You can see it's a lot of orange. And you know, you've heard me talk about before about how this is my most expensive palette. I also think that this is one of Natasha's best. There are no duds in this palette. For number 6, we have Cranberry, and it is Natasha Denona for the win. This is her Cranberry palette. It's what I have on my eyes today. I've enjoyed this palette since the day I got it in the mail, and I would never part with her. It's one of my favorites. Next, for Burgundy Beauty, we have the Urban Decay Naked Cherry. The color story is very monochromatic, and the looks that you'll do with this palette will probably be sort of simplistic, but it's still a nice formulation, and it is something that I reach for to accentuate, you'll never guess, my blue eyes. In my 8th category, I have Best Bargain. You guys can probably already guess what I'm going to talk about. It is the ColourPop Sandstone palette. This is my favorite palette from ColourPop, and check out this color story. Has anything ever been so fall? No. That was very close to my eye. Like, I almost lost an eyelash there. So for number 9, it is almost didn't make the list. This category encompasses palettes that are barely fall. And for that, I'm going with the Melt Vida palette. Not every shade in here is iconically fall. However, I'm sure you can look around and see how I can make some definite fall looks with this palette. This is also one that I really wish that they would bring back because it's awesome, and I think more people would enjoy it. Now for category number 10, I have Not Worth the Money. It is the Mothership Mega Celestial Divinity palette. I've just found that creating beautiful looks with this palette to be near to impossible for me. They all just kind of look muddy on my eyes once they are applied, and there's a lot of fallout with this palette. This palette was $75, I believe, at the time, which seemed like a good deal for a Natasha palette, but it was the devil in disguise, girl. It wasn't good. For number 11, I have Best of of indie. This is from Lovecraft Beauty. This is the Warm Rituals palette. This was gifted to me by one of my friend's moms, and I've really been enjoying this. The golden olive shade in here is very, very nice. To be honest, the whole formulation, it feels somewhere in between Jeffree Star and Natasha Denona. So, you know, that kind of very blendable matte. Now we have the best influencer collab, and I think that one should go to Carly Bible and ABH. I have been able to craft quite a few beautiful fall eyeshadow looks with this palette. I wish that at the time ABH had not launched so many palettes at one time, because I feel like this one just did not get its real time to shine. For worst influencer collab, poor little Miss Jaclyn Hill. It is her Morphe collab Vault collection. This is the yellow one. I'm not really sure like what the official name is. Just being real, I did not enjoy this palette nearly as much as her original. This is also an evil unicorn of a palette because it swatches beautifully. It really does. It will swatch beautifully on your wrist, but then you go to apply it with a brush and it's patchy, and the color, once it's down, it fades away very quickly. To the depths! No, I'm just kidding, not today. Next category is the only palette I own from one brand. So that for me is the Dominique Cosmetics Latte palette. This is the original. It's very cute. I really like the color story. None of her other color stories have appealed to me enough to go out and buy them. I will say the color story for this one, for me, I would give this an A+, but the formulation is probably a B to B- on some of these shades. I would like to try out more from the brand in the future. Next up is worth the heavy price tag, and that's going to be the Pat McGrath Labs Midnight Sun palette. It's fall, y'all. It's $125, but so worth it in my opinion. And again, it's worth it to me. May not be worth it to everyone, but I've really enjoyed this palette and this warm tone color story. Pat McGrath does not have that many palettes that lean warm, and this is one of them done right. Next category is Baby Come Back. And no, I'm not talking about your awful ex. I'm talking about palettes that have been retired that I wish that they would bring back. For me, the number one would be Subculture. Like, this to me is the ultimate fall palette. I'm actually surprised that I have never hit pan on this palette, because I know I've used this at least 50 times. Friendos, in the category of Marvelous, we have the Natasha Denona Midi Retro palette. This is the latest to come out from Miss Natasha Denona. It is a gorgeous color story. It is hard to get an array of different looks with this palette just because it is so monochromatic when it is applied to the eye. And for our final category, we have most colorful fall palette. So for me, it is the Huda Beauty Desert Dusk. You get browns, you get taupes, you get oranges, you get cranberry, burgundy, even the more purpley shades of fall. Oh, and gold. Of course you get gold. But yeah, this palette is absolutely stunning. All right, friendos, this brings me to the end of today's video. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I truly appreciate you all coming and spending time with me and us all getting to rave about these fall palettes. By the way, I know some of you all are big Jeffree Star cosmetics fans. Have you guys seen that he's going to be launching what I believe is going to be the blood orange palette? That's, you know, that's me speculating. I have no idea, but if I had to put a name on the palette, I would say blood orange. We'll just have to keep a watchful eye and see, but I'm very excited about that palette because I have been hoping that he would release an orange themed palette for years. So please let me know in the comments down below, do you think that there's any fall palettes that I missed here that I need to know about? Fall is absolutely my favorite time for makeup because I feel like that's when the companies have saved their best for that time right before Christmas for all their most exciting launches. So that's what gets me so excited about fall, not so much pumpkin spice lattes and cold weather. Although, no offense to you girls who like the pumpkin spice lattes. I'm more of a chai latte girl myself. I'm just being silly now. I do enjoy my coffee in the fall. I'm just prattling on. Okay guys, I am going to end this video. I hope your day is fantastic. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. It really helps me out a lot. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe. If not, we'll just have to live in the shadows of never knowing what could have been. All right guys, bye.